We've finally found some fulfillment here on this program as we're sending two families to professional wrestling, and we had that kid skip school to get the tickets to the Dolphin game. We feel like we're reaching a measure of distinction here. Now, there's no more distinguished guy in South Florida broadcasting history than the man who joins us next, and that is Tony Segreto. We go old school with Tony Segreto.
He makes charitable work, his life work, so he's mocking us now for what we are proud of, our endeavor.
I am not mocking. I am not. I'm not mocking you. I just don't even know how to respond to that because I would not have expected anything less than that kind of intro today. When I heard that gentleman win the tickets to the wrestling and he's taking his children, I saw the wheels. I saw the comedy writer in Defo's head, like trying to write as fast as he could, just to figure out what's next.
I have to write everything down now, Tony, because I can't remember my own name. It's written here on a sheet, the Defo Show.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto.
All right, welcome back to the show. Great to be with you here, and always, one of our favorite parts of the week is to get the chance to go old school with our good friend. I mean, he's a friend to everybody, and he is the guy that points you in a direction of light and brightness and hope. And we need some of that on this show. We have Mike Lubitz over there.
I had to do that for Lubie yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious me! He was, he texted me as he does every Tuesday. He texted me. He said, Tony, you ready for tomorrow? He's just double checking. He's so good at that, and you're very blessed to have that kind of guy.
Let's not get carried away. Blessed is not really a term I associate with my relationship with Lubie. No, he's a great guy, man. No question.
Anyway. So I go, how about them Noles? And he goes into this.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It's too close for – and I go, whoa.
Dramatic upset over a better team, supposedly.
Oh, my Lord. I couldn't understand it. There isn't a person that I haven't spoken with, Florida State fan, Florida fan, any kind of fan, who didn't think that was an amazing game and probably a turning point for this program with Mike Norvell.
I'll get my father for you if you want. He's way worse. He thinks Fuller should be fired and Norvell won't last the season. I'm like, Jesus, Dad, how are you worse than me?
How is that possible?
Coach won't last the season.
Listen, listen. I am missing. I don't even know where to start.
That's what I come from. What do you want from me? I'm better than him. The whole game, we're losing.
That doesn't make it good. You're supposed to change the entire rhythm. You got to change the heritage here. My goodness gracious me. Oh, my Lord.
You found one worse than me, didn't you, Tony? You found one worse than me.
Yeah, for that moment, he was worse than you. I said to him, you're hanging around Defo way too much.
No, this is on his own. This is a unique brand of
I couldn't believe it. My Lord. I don't know what else you want. In the past 5 years, this team would have folded.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely folded.
And they sort of did.
And they didn't. When you get Lou Holtz talked about different ways of learning how to win. And one of the ways is believing that you can take the next step, right? Believing, and then it's learning how to win. And then once you learn how to win consistently. And that was a lesson that they learned the other night, that you can, how many times, and I'm going to address this to Defo because we're a lot older than you. Jeff, how many times in our covering football games have we seen an extra point to tie or win it get blocked? How many times? I can't think of.
You know what? I actually was thinking very briefly after they scored that touchdown under, some very fugazi circumstances. But a thrill in Manila type of game. And of course, this was, I'm not sure. Did I lose the Texas Roadhouse dinner on the FSU LSU game or the Serena match on opening night?
Serena. But although I did pick FSU,
you liked FSU. Lubie liked FSU. He gave a fairly sound rationale, which was unusual for him, as to why FSU was being overlooked. And we had two guys whose opinion I respect say that LSU was going to crush FSU like a grape, and they couldn't believe the line was only 3 points. They thought this was Gimme City.
We had all the experts say that Ohio State was going to They would
you
blow
Notre
by
Dame,
the
yeah.
17.
thought Notre Dame would hit.
That one was more suspect though than
Well,
this. Everybody was convinced, except for Lubie and you, that FSU. I mean, 3 points. What was a joke? They couldn't even understand how the line was there and stayed there for so long. And then you get as a degenerate this miracle. I mean, they're going in for an unnecessary, pounding, clinching score. They don't have to do anything. They could have just sat on the ball and probably eliminated any chance. They would have forced LSU to use their timeouts, and there would have been maybe 20 seconds left in the game to go 95 yards or whatever it would have been. I thought of you, Tony, because I was hearing in my head Sonny Hirsch's call and the Horace Copeland pass play. I think
Yeah.
that was from Gino.
Yeah.
Of 99 yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
all of South Florida. And Neil Rogers used to play that clip like a zillion times a show. So it stuck in my head. But I thought, okay, they go 99 yards. And I thought for a brief second, everybody's celebrating. Well, what if they miss this? Like the kid shanks it.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I'm going like, all right, it's tied. All right, what are the chances of him
Especially
missing
in
it?
college? The kickers are less
I mean,
consistent.
it's a gimme. I mean, but listen, missing it is one thing. Blocking an extra point
You don't block
is like next to impossible. But what a win for that program. And when's the last time we can say that Miami, Florida, and Florida State all won on the same weekend?
And
I
don't know how significant the Miami one was, but the Gators.
Well, listen, and
Florida State, those were big wins. I mean, huge wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Florida State Duquesne game when talking about Miami. You go beyond the opponent. You look at how they won. They didn't commit mistakes. They had high energy. I mean, there was they kept everything pretty much vanilla. They weren't going to expose a whole lot of things in what they do. But I really love the way they played. I love their energy. They step it up a little bit this week. And then, then we all go to A&M, the College Station, and then we put it on the line and see where we are in a hostile environment and go from there.
Did you lay the 39 with Miami? I
No.
thought that.
It was only 39? Oh, geez.
Something like that. I mean, that was a big subject at the track. Did they cover some enormous?
No, but I did take Florida State.
Nice.
I did take Florida State.
And the professor, he liked Florida. He gave a good rationale for that, and it turned out to be right, which was amazing. But to see that game come down to this, and then you still had a chance to cover the spread if you had LSU.
Yes.
If they get to overtime, I'm praying that Kelly goes for the point and the tie, other than the win, which I thought would have been, a far more risky move than taking the game to overtime.
Hey, listen, LSU is going to be a really good team. They've got, you could just see the athletes they have.
Your boy looked a little pale though, even though he took all that
money
to leave Notre Dame.
Listen, he's gonna learn quick. This is a different ball game in Baton Rouge, man.
He sounded like Ed Ogeron after the game. He was speaking in tongues. It was like.
Hey, listen.
He was spitting up pea soup. I mean, no, he really looked sick.
Yeah,
Brian Kelly looked sicker than anybody. Yeah,
he should have.
He survives this muffed punt with 2 minutes to go, and they're going in. And what is? I mean, here's where Lubie is going insane, man. What? And this is anyone around that was discussing this game said, "What the hell are you doing?
I know,
pitching the football inside
exactly
in a goal line situation." Yeah, it should never leave the guy's hands. I mean, maybe backwards like 5 yards or something, but not on the inside like that.
Let's look at the whole this whole amazing weekend. Started on Thursday night with App State, North Carolina. I mean, with Pitt in West Virginia. Pitt in West Virginia was a spectacular game.
Pretty good game, yeah.
And then we just went from there on and on and on to really, really great premier marquee games. I thought that the Notre Dame Ohio State game. I think Marcus Freeman's got something there, and I think that obviously Ohio State is. Whoa, they got a whole bunch of athletes. I just think it's going to be a great season. If week one is anything like, if the rest of the weeks are anything like week one, I mean, it's going to be an absolute remarkable season. I could not get enough of it. And you kept thinking to yourself, what can top this? What can top this? And then you get the Florida State game. And you go, yeah, well, here we go.
That was as wild a finish to any ball game. I think.
Well, App State North Carolina finish
was great.
Was
NC State game with the kids missing extra point. That they missed a extra point.
Yeah. Just,
That was
just,
good. I had
just
the
a-
under in that game, so I tuned it out fairly early. I mean, it was like what they put up 125 on the board,
Yeah.
something like that. All right, Tony Segreto. Of course, we're old school with Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. I don't mind. This is a bet I don't mind paying off at all because we're going to head to Texas Roadhouse.
And by the way, to your point, real quick,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think regardless of how you feel about Serena, I think her early exit, I mean, just set everything up. So now people are gravitated to some great matches. I mean, I was working out the other day. Heck, all of us were watching. What's the young man's name that beat Nadal?
Nadal?
Tiaforo? Is it
Yeah,
Tiaforo?
yeah. Francis Tiafora.
I mean, just grab. I mean, we were all mesmerized by that.
Yeah.
By that.
No,
match,
he's a good player. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been. It really has been a wonderful, wonderful U.S. Open so far.
And this guy has a
fantastic.
rags to riches story also. I mean, Francis
Yeah, he
Tiafoe.
does.
And I've watched him over the years because, you're always thinking, well, it'd be nice to see this kid's story come and flourish like the Williams sisters did. Very humble beginnings. I think I was saying yesterday, he had like a snowshoe that he found in a garage somewhere, and he turned it into a tennis racket.
Mm-hmm.
His dad was like a groundskeeper at a tennis center. And that he got started by taking
Great
guys like
stories.
broken rackets and playing with them. And he's tough. He lost a couple of really, high wire matches earlier this year to major contenders where they battled. I think he played Kyrgios in just an absolute dogfight of a 3-setter, and ended up losing when he had the advantage. So there was some question whether he could close these kind of matches out, but he's doing it more frequently, recently. And of course, that was big. Nadal was not 100%, though, I don't think, in this thing. And it's pretty amazing that he's 36 years old and competes at this level. But
the level is
wow.
remarkable.
The play has been sensational. And I think, it did work out well. I would agree 100%. The Serena story played out, and it ended just when it needed to end also.
Exactly. It did.
Because it was
really
grabbing the stage from what, was sensational play by other people. And
Agreed.
she wasn't playing at the level that these other people are playing. That's for sure.
Right. Agreed. I totally agree with you. But it's been this whole couple of weeks has just been fabulous.
Amazing.
Yeah. A great time of year. Now we have the NFL starting. I mean, it's going to be some fun stuff.
All right, very good. All right, and Lubie, what's the status of the great Ed Garcia? Are we connected with him? No sign. Oh, okay.
Where is he? Wait. Is he still partying from Michigan's win?
Probably he's excited about Michigan's win. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about and the Gators end up now number 12 from being unranked.
Yeah.
They drop right into the middle of the list there.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of Gator fans are excited about, and that was a very interesting ball game
I'll tell you
too.
what.
I mean, coming right down to the end. I mean, two just monster finishes for these
If you
Florida teams.
if you watch that game, there was no question they got themselves a quarterback. Anthony Richardson is he was the man on that field. He was no question he was the guy.
Now, did you find yourself rooting? You bet on them, but were you still rooting?
I didn't bet on the
okay.
Gators. I bet on Florida State. There's a big difference.
So you're already cleaning up, Tony. A lot of people are buried at this point in time. They just, they're
I just
figuring what's the way out.
Spots. I just pick my spots. You gotta, and you also have to pick what you believe, what you truly believe. And listen, I lose most of the time. I just had a fortunate weekend, and I think I'm excited to see how Miami develops. I tell you what, and I'm not dismissing Miami. It's just that they played Bethune-Cookman like Florida State played Duquesne the week before. You get teams like that. It's sort of like a preseason game. You would hope that they would win, but you're more interested to see how they win. And are they going to be consistent? Are they going to be disciplined? And they're going to have this and that, and how they react. So I thought it was great. And I'll tell you what, the 3 quarterbacks in this state are terrific. Really 3 good.
Well, that's the one thing a lot of people talked about. I noticed, and look, Jordan Travis is a guy that I've been sort of hard on because he's run first dude, and I get it. The defensive line by the halfway point was down 2 dudes. I don't care. That defensive line is as good as any in the country.
All right, let's be negative. How about we do the negative hour?
Well, I was going to be positive. I was going to say he played as well as any quarterbacks I've seen play in a long time. He was patient. He was smart. Look, if those guys catch those 2 touchdowns, he has a 4-touchdown day versus one of the best defenses in the country, pretty much in their house. I mean, he played out of his mind. He ran when he had to. He used his legs. to throw in a way I haven't seen him. The play calling by Norvell was something I've been looking for, where it fit Jordan Travis. And it's what you saw with Anthony Richardson with the Gators, and it's what you're seeing with with
Van Dyke.
Where they're going to run first. They're going to take the pressure off their quarterback, which will allow the play action, so it'll make the passing easier. And that's something we haven't seen from that's the one thing the three programs haven't had in a long time. Three quarterbacks.
Well, you can't when they're young quarterbacks. Now, all three guys are pretty mature, but when they're young quarterbacks, you can't just make them the carry the load. That's not fair. It's just not. It's not. Edgar, hey, Ed. I think Michigan did Michigan play this week? Did they? Is he there?
Yeah, Michigan had a big win. I'm not a fan
joking.
of the cupcake game. Tony, you know that.
Yeah, I
not
know.
To add
the preseason game.
a flaming arrow of negativity into the conversation here, but when Alabama's taking on Utah State,
right.
and you're watching Utah State, life and death to beat University of Connecticut, a team that was 3-69 over the last 10 years, then they're going to go against Alabama. I don't need to see this.
I agree.
It's the clubbing of seals. It really is, Tony. I mean, it's just like if you enjoy watching that, then great.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I would like to see more competitive games. All right, the college football playoff expanding now to 12 games.
Love
you
it.
do like that.
I think
we need 12 teams in there. I mean, it's funny because I was the biggest proponent of it should be as wide open as the basketball, like from a football sense. Obviously, you have timing issues and a lot of different things in terms
different
of
sport. It's a completely different
locale.
Sport,
but I mean, did we need 16 teams in there? I mean, maybe
back
in the day you did, but
I think 12 is a good way to expand.
Do we need that though? I've reversed my opinion. 4 is plenty. I mean, the fourth team usually sucks.
I think we need to be on the 4, if for no other reason than we give other teams an opportunity to get in. Here's what I love. I love that it's 12. I love the fact that the first round is on campus. So I think that's going to be spectacular for the campuses. If there's a concern, and I'm going to learn more next week when I'm at the meeting, how we are going to maintain and preserve the bowls.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about.
And I think that's what's most important. And I don't think they would have pulled the trigger on this unless they knew what they were going to do. So
the Gasparilla Bowl becomes a factor now in the championship hunt. No?
Well, I mean, we have the championship game in 26.
Have you been to the Gasparilla Bowl?
No, I have not.
I meant to ask you too. I mean, that game was in New Orleans, that FSU game, but
I have been to New Orleans a lot. I have been to New Orleans.
I mean, what's your go-to food there when you go there, Tony Segreto? I mean, do you go to an Italian joint there? Because there is that influence.
No. So my two go-tos are, I love going on Bourbon Street to just sit at an oyster bar.
Okay.
And just eat as many oysters. So
you're
as
rolling
I
to Acme
can.
and suck down a few.
Yeah. Nice. I'll do some. Watch them shuck them, and then we'll get a couple of cold brews to go with it.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to we pick. There isn't a restaurant you can go. You can wherever you go, it's going to be great. But I love the other staples are. I love about midnight going to get a beignet with a good cup of the chicory coffee. And then Brennan's for breakfast. I mean, you can't
Brennan's.
beat.
Wow.
You can't beat any of that. So, I've been there enough to where I know the menus pretty well. And in fact, I have a friend of mine who lives in New Orleans who sends me the chicory coffee because they love the chicory coffee a lot. So,
Sonny Hirsch was a big fan of going to Brennan's for breakfast.
He
said you had to witness the preparation of this bananas Foster. Which,
it's unbelievable. I mean, here you are at 7:30 in the morning. You're having your coffee, your regular
eggs Benedict
eggs
at about
Benedict,
50 a pop. Yeah,
and then they come out with dessert that you're going, oh no way, get it away. And
it's real old school stuff too.
Yeah, man.
It's service.
It's remarkable. White tablecloths, everybody's dressed up. They're great servers. They know what to recommend. When you ask them, it's like a Texas Roadhouse. When you ask the server, so what is this like? They give you a straight answer, not, oh, I've never tried it. I don't know. Let me go ask somebody who does. I mean,
you have to be pretty nifty with a knife or a blade to shuck those oysters too.
I would imagine
that
they have shuckers there. They have.
I know, but I mean, the people that do it, I mean, they're absolutely great. If anything, they look like they were trained by Texas Roadhouse in what they do. They're so expert at it. Hey, how about this? We have Ed Garcia, and he's on the road.
Where are you, Ed?
I'm in beautiful Minnesota.
Where?
Minnesota. He's in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Ah,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, that's a great play. I
Yeah,
love
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Excellent.
Minnesota. Yeah.
Are you ice fishing? What are you doing up there?
It's getting ready. Checking out some of the Texas Roadhouses up to some of their systems, and it's been a great.
Kind of got a spotty connection there, really.
The internet connection's not great. That's why he wasn't able to connect via the.
Yeah. All right. No, it's great. I lost a bet to Tony, and I don't mind losing this one because it's dinner for the three of us at Texas Roadhouse. So now we have to go there, a couple of times. But I was saying I'll probably get out of there for less than a stick, and we all need a good steak, which is a great thing about your place.
Yeah, Ed, you guys are doing well.
I'd love to have you guys real soon.
Well, I'm going to be in town next week, and we'll set it up to come in, and hopefully you'll be in town, and you can meet us, and we can have a good dinner, and we can plan our contest so we can get a lucky winner to come down to the Texas Roadhouse and be with us. Tell you what, hey, listen. Did you have did your restaurants just kick butt this weekend with people sitting at the bar or the whole restaurant watching games? Can you fill us in on how that went?
It was very, very awesome. Everybody came in by the drove, thousands and thousands of people. And the weather worked with everybody, so.
Kind of losing a little bit of Ed Garcia here, but he looks great. That's a good thing. Maybe we can catch Ed on the phone or something.
Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can get Ed on the phone.
Because I want to hear what he thought about the college football season. You're off to a rocket start, though, Tony Segreto.
What's that?
Man, you're picking winners. It's great. I mean,
you
finished last year very strongly, as I recall.
I did, but I got to keep the momentum. I got to pick my spots. I haven't even looked at what we're going to do, what I'm going to do this week yet.
Well, and I meant to ask you this because I started talking about it, and it took me a while to get used to it when I moved to South Florida to get used to the idea of how dominant football was. Now, it obviously made some sense because this was 1981, and that's all we had, right? Karen, that was all we had, right? When she flushed the Coke down the toilet. Because we didn't have pro basketball, we didn't have pro baseball, we didn't have pro hockey. So you had the University of Miami was just about to come into prominence, although nobody knew for sure under Howard. The Dolphins were always, being counted on to perform at a very high level. And I didn't realize how the Deep South was so football-centric. But never before have I found myself, so anxious to see an NFL season get started. I don't know. Do you find yourself,
I'm excited about this NFL season.
Yeah.
I think I'm excited because there's a lot of movement around. There's, I don't know. It almost feels like a renaissance, like this rebirth. So let's see what happens. We have great games on. We have a great game on Thursday, great game on Sunday night. Dolphins open up against Patriots. But first, we got Ed Garcia back on the phone. Ed, you there?
Beautiful.
Hello.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me much better now?
Oh, much
Hello, can you hear me?
better. So go back to real quick. Your this past weekend. Did you say you had over thousands and thousands of people at all these different restaurants? Is that what it was that you were telling us?
We did. It was such a great weekend. That the Sunday night was extra popping because people didn't have to come into work the next day. Obviously, college football was a real big win on Saturday for lots of people. Just a lot of excitement all the way around. We should have saw the margaritas were slinging and the snake bites and the hand cut steaks. It was a fantastic weekend.
Now, Ed, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and I forgot to ask you last week, let's say someone's going to the University of Miami game or, wherever a Texas Roadhouse is, a Florida State, Florida game, a Michigan game. Can they get tailgate food from you and bring it to the game? Do you have packages like that, or can they create a package like that to get some tailgate food and bring it?
Absolutely. We have some really cool family packs. You can actually also find it on our mobile app and then call to the restaurants. We will always work depending on the size. It's really hard to find something one size that fits all. However, if you have a party of 8, 16, 40, 50, 100, whatever it may be, we'd be more than happy to put something together for you. We have a lot of great things like boneless wings, which are perfect for tailgating. not too messy. Grab a couple of forks, and we have some really great sauces for those. We have our delicious snake bites, and that's really the homemade, hand-rolled jalapeno popper. It takes us 2 days to make them. They're absolutely fantastic. And then, some really great dipping sauces with that. But a lot of little great different things that you can do and take to the tailgate. So that way you can go into the game nice and full.
And you can bring the great margaritas with you too.
That's right. Depending on the state that you're in, but absolutely the margaritas to go. You just got to make sure we have a sign that says Lubie can't take more than 2 gallons. So.
Yeah, a guy shows up at a tailgate party with a couple of racks of those ribs. Texas Roadhouse, Tony. Tell me you don't become the big maca right away at that party.
Well,
right?
not only that,
Everybody
but you forget when the kickoff is. You just want to sit there and finish up. Yeah, I mean, the game is irrelevant at that point.
You don't care. You got a little bit of barbecue sauce on that Dolphin jersey, as you're sitting there in the stands there and baking in the sun, but it feels good. And always a pleasure. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here in Minnesota. Are the Wolverines playing the Gophers this week or something? Oh, that's right. You're doing a restaurant thing. So that's what brings you to the Midwest. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Have a great day, guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot.
I get a last winter. I get a text message with all these pictures from Chuck Foreman, who still lives in Minnesota, and the great Chuck Foreman, who was University of Miami legend, and then went on to the pros, and obviously, played for the Vikings. And he sends me a picture of his driveway. He goes, brother. He says, I can't get out of my driveway. I need to come back to South Florida.
Oh yeah.
So I'm here in Vermont, and I go, and I take a picture of the snow here. I go, don't complain to me about your snow, man. What are you, crazy? Not even close.
Chuck Foreman, man. Yeah, you can hear Facenda like in your ears. A hard-nosed running back out of the University of Miami.
When you see those old films, you don't realize how big.
Man, that guy was a bruiser, man.
Well,
he was Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry.
When you see Chuck Foreman and Archie Griffin in particular, and you realize, and Tim Brown from Notre Dame, how big those shoulder pads were at the time. I mean, they were like the guy you see on Fox, the robot you see on Fox, as the prelim to a football game for Fox Sports. It's incredible, really something.
Remember those cheapo plastic shoulder pads you used to get when we were kids, Tony? And it would inevitably break your spine on the first hit.
It was like getting it at Old Navy.
It was detrimental. They found out eventually that, or at least they believe now, that headgear is detrimental to boxers that are training. That they're better off just not wearing it at all.
Yeah,
and that was the case with these shoulder pads, right? I mean, those things, the protective gear has come a long way.
Yeah,
that's for sure. All right, we have the NFL season on tap, and the Miami Dolphins, I believe, and you're not going to like this, Tony, but I believe they're a cinch in this first game against the Patriots. The line up to 3.5 now.
Listen, they're favored. Miami's favored by 3.
They were favored by 3, now 3.5. And Belichick brought the team down here to go to the beach and party, for a week before they go out there. And they routinely blow this game at Hard Rock Stadium. I think they've lost 8 out of 10.
I think. Listen. It's again. I think Miami wins this game. I agree with you. I really do. I think if nothing else. First of all, I think they're ready to go, and I think that Belichick is still kind of struggling getting the roster like the way he wants it, and I think I think the Heat will finally wear them down. It's just different. It's just people can talk about Heat everywhere. It's just a lot different. Yeah, it's just, and you're in that. It's just gonna. I like Miami. I really do.
Jason Cole said it's comical that he was on the show yesterday with us, Jason, and said it's comical that Belichick thinks that his team is going to adjust to what it's like to, wear this gear and compete in the South Florida Heat in the span of a few days when everybody knows it takes 2 years to get acclimated to this weather.
2 years? I've lived there most of my life, and I'm still not acclimated.
I've been there 39 years, and
I'm walking my dog last night. I was getting ready to go out with the Mustang and catch a show somewhere here in town. And sure enough, we also had to re-enter the Deadpool because Gorbachev checked out. You can appreciate that. Somebody hit it with Gorbachev. And I ended up with George Foreman as one of the names I have.
Oh, gee.
George ain't going anywhere. Last
Listen,
time
listen,
I'm drawing the worst
I-
names in this pool. O.J.
we-
Simpson in the last one.
we
He's
joke
never going to
about
die.
you. We joke about being degenerates, but
Yeah.
that right there is just sick. It is just absolutely.
It is. I agree. I hate it.
I don't even want to be honest with you. I don't even want to hear about it.
Well, at
I
least I can look myself in the eye in the mirror, Tony,
and still be sick
by
of it.
admitting to be sick. Yeah. All right. We're going to come back with more old school with
It's just
Tony
wrong.
Segreto.
It's just wrong. It's wrong.
It's not like you're rooting for the guy to die.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
are.
I really.
No,
You bet on
you
him.
happen to cash if he does. If James Caan checks out, you worship the fact that he was a brilliant actor, and then you go, "Hey, thanks, James, for the 42 dimes." Beautiful. Back with more in a moment. Now that it's a nice piece of cash there, undeclarable. Also, it's 8:34 already. In style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. You know, since day one, Catholic Health Services has been part of Old School. And since we've started letting people know about them, it's changed their lives. You see, Catholic Health Services, while being recognized as one of the top places for stroke rehab in the country, it's also about a group of people who not just excel in what they do, from the doctors to the nurses to the therapist, on and on and on. It's how they do what they do every single day that separates them from the pack. They do it with a passion, unmatched, and the inclusion of family in every step of the process. Trust me when I tell you this. If you want the best, unmatched rehab with a special group of skilled, caring people, there is truly only one place, and that one place is Catholic Health Services.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Does your bookie have an app, though? Everything's on an app.
No, he only deals with me.
Well, I mean, what did you do for this man? Did you break him
Yeah, I was
out of
gonna
prison?
say, what does that mean?
What did you do? Did you get him off some rap? He was with
like,
El Chapo. He was about to do life, and you called an attorney on his behalf.
What
happened here?
I'm like Costanza with the password for his bank account in that episode. I'm going to go to my grave with that.
Exactly.
Wow, I mean, you do get very generous odds. I would have
do.
to say. No, I mean. That would be all anybody that was a sick degenerate like we are could ever dream about is getting better prices than anybody else. Various ball games. So we'd still find a way, we'd still find a way to lose.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Do you regret Tony Segreto? Well, welcome back to the show, by the way. We're old school with Tony Segreto, brought to you by Catholic Health Services
regrets.
and Texas Roadhouse Restaurant.
I have no regrets.
Did you regret, I think you might remember this, putting that 52 Mickey Mantle baseball card with a clothespin from your mother's laundry string there in the spokes of your Schwinn bicycle and, letting it make a little bit of a flapping noise for a while so people would know you were coming. And unfortunately, like years later, it turned out to be worth like $13 million.
I could have chose differently. Yeah. I did not choose wisely for sure.
What the hell were we thinking, Tony?
You know what?
Oh my God! I mean, I mean, my Eli Gerba cards, which I remember this guy from the Yankees.
Cards, like first of all, I never got the card thing because my dad did the same thing, and I used it when I was like 8. I'm like, why would you do that? But like, why would it always be good players? Because he said, yeah, Willie Mays and Williams and DiMaggio. I'm like, what? Why not use the crappy players at least? Like, if you're gonna do
Yeah.
that, like, why is
Why
it?
were we flipping our Mantle and
Gretzky?
Mays cards when we could have been flipping Eli Gerba and Harry Cheating?
Obviously we weren't thinking, and I don't, Jeff. Think about. Well, I'm gonna I can only talk about my family.
Yeah.
When I was young, a lot of my gifts from my aunts and uncles when I was growing up were stocks in different companies.
Oh, no wonder you're in
or-
Vermont. So
No,
I mean, with nothing to do.
they were, teaching you how to open your bank account, and I would take my bicycle to the bank once a week for my paper route and put money in the bank account. So, but
I did
when
that
it came-
once. I did.
When it came to baseball, no one knew baseball cards would be valuable. No one advised you that one day these things would be, amazingly expensive. We had no idea, none
Never would have
whatsoever.
thought. Never.
And I mean, just even some of the stuff, listen, from our parents, God rest their soul, the China, we must have probably between here and Florida, we must have 4 different sets of China from parents and grandparents that my wife says are valuable, because who would have known at that time? Who would have known? Nobody.
No.
And I mean, and you're right. I mean, we abused those cards. Whether we flipped them, whether we put them in bicycle
They were a
spokes,
commodity. Yeah.
they were in the back of your, in your back pocket when you took them fishing, and they were still in your back pocket with the bait. Sometimes, I mean, it was just we abused them, and little did we know that you
threw out all the rookie cards. Threw them out.
Oh
right
yeah.
Away. Who's this rookie?
Yeah,
Yastrzemski?
exactly.
Get him
Gone.
out of here.
Yeah. Yep.
Checklists were big.
Yeah.
I had a friend. This is really a shame. And I probably had access to this, but it never would have occurred to me that it was worthwhile to do. But I had a friend when I was going to PS20 elementary school, whose mother worked for Topps.
Oh.
And she used to pull this kid like an entire set in the box, right? So all you had to do was leave this crap in the box. And I probably could have got it myself, but I was like, what am I going to do with this,
Yeah.
And I
Now,
kind of
here's
like
the
going to the store and buying the pack and gambling that you might have a good one in there, which you
Right.
never did. It was always like a scratch-off ticket, that you buy for the Florida lottery, where
Right.
all of your buddies have won like $10,000 jackpots, but you never get shit. Nothing.
Right. Now,
Right.
here's the question. I know what your answer will be, but just for a moment, do you, if you had this Mantle card for all these years, and you could get 13 million. I mean, I know we would all sell it, but there would still be this little tug at your heart that you're going, oh my God.
Not 1 second's worth of regret on that. A baseball card worth $12-13 million, Tony? Are you kidding me?
No,
there you go, man. I love the Mick. I'll go get another picture of the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I have a bunch of pictures.
You
with
could
him,
buy
so
some famous artist that must have done a portrait of Mickey Mantle where he signed it. With like 2 of the million maybe that you have, and you still have 10 million left to spend. I'm going for that.
I have to check. I have a picture.
I would have sold it much earlier though. That's the problem.
Yeah. I have a picture. Yeah, I probably would have sold it when it was like $10,000.
I would have sold it for like $5,000. I mean, gladly, years earlier, and probably needed the money to pay off some loan sharks. So that would have been some ugliness. All right, let's get into a couple of NFL things here.
Yeah,
because we have the game coming up tomorrow night.
Yep.
A lot of people in wild anticipation of that.
Yep.
It is a blockbuster.
My daughter's full on board, man. They're working hard.
Oh, that's right, working on a thing for NBC.
She's her big game is Sunday Night Football, so she'll be working. She's got a big role not a big role, but she's got a role in that game, staying back in Stanford.
Hey, now that Michaels is gone, she can call the game.
Yeah, exactly. But they'll also, all the Sunday night folks were going to help out the Amazon folks, because NBC's doing all the production on that. So
aren't they airing the game though? Somebody was it Lubie that was saying it's on NBC?
Yeah, it is. This one's on NBC.
This first one, yeah.
Yeah, this first one's on NBC.
Very good.
And one of the things she works on, as an aside, being a proud father, she works on the Open, the Carrie Underwood Open.
Nice.
So that's not going to be unveiled until Sunday night, and
that's always good.
Yeah, that really is good. So
nice piece of television production. It's a long way from the old days of the opening of Wide World of Sports, which we thought was spectacular, right?
Yeah.
And they get the guy crashing off the ski slope. That was always a good.
I was
scene.
told early on in my career by the great Mike Pearl, who's no longer with us now. And Mike was a producer who mentored me, just a brilliant. His family, in fact, owned Muzak.
All right.
the elevator music,
Well, I mean, that's reason to
but
distance
he was
yourself from this guy.
just a brilliant guy. Went on to produce Wide World of Sports and produced the Olympics for ABC before NBC got it.
Oh,
Told
nice.
me that opens to sporting events are critical. It gets you in the mood. It gets you ready. How you open a show, how you open a sporting event is critical. And we used to pride ourselves at Sports Final doing that. And when you look at these opens now, I mean,
Spectacular.
Who's reading this? What star is reading that? I mean, it was just incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
It incorporates that skill that you and Rinaldi have, which is, the ability to narrate anything and make it sound like it was the most dramatic thing
Well, thank you for that.
that
Rinaldi,
ever happened in the history of the world.
Thank you. I have a respect for Rinaldi. He said, I'll tell you what, they did something the other day on the linebacker lounge in South Bend. And, having my son go there for 4 years, that was like the spot. But to get in after a game, I mean, you talk about, it is the quintessential Midwest dive bar.
Wow.
That's had every legend walk in there. It smells like beer. It looks like beer. It's,
everybody looks like Ray Nitschke. Is that what you're going to say?
Everybody looks like Ray Nitschke. And every town has it, right? Miami used to have, listen, it's a shame.
I was in a bar last night with some people I wouldn't have normally pictured being there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember probably one of the greatest bars of all time after a Miami game was going to Tobacco Road. I mean, it was.
Oh, that was a great place.
It was a legendary place, and now it's no longer there. But it was Tobacco Road,
Blues
Tobacco
Capital.
Road.
I mean, they had some great musicians there all the time.
Yeah, it was just amazing. After a game, that's where you'd head. Or you would go.
It was a bit of a dark, kind of a dungeon-like atmosphere when you walked in there, especially.
Well, that's what those bars
sunlight.
were, or you went down to the Grove and went down to Monty's. Those are the places. Monty's is still there, and it's still legendary, and it's still got, if you listen closely to the walls, it tells you great stories because there's just everybody.
The voice of Sonny Hirsch emanates
Sonny
from
Hirsch,
those walls.
Every great Hurricane coach, every great Hurricane player, whether it's Bernie Kosar or the greatest Hurricane player of all time, Ted Hendricks. I mean, they were all there. So it's just.
We're here at Monty's tonight with a great Tony Segreto. And Tony, it was a hell of a game.
But it's still there, so go to it. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, though, I mean, and then we have to get into a little Catholic Health Services here, but I don't know. I mean, I don't have any bias against the Buffalo Bills. They're obviously a team that was knocking on the door last year and the last couple of years. This Josh Allen, everybody loves him, because he runs and he throws the ball, and he might be a little bit wild, but that's a kind of swashbuckling Jim Kelly type of quarterback we haven't seen in a while, and they, with that kind of size and linebacker like ability to go out there and almost administer a punishment himself on some of these tacklers for as long as it lasts. But are you buying that they should be the favorites to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And do you see them going down as a favorite on the road in week number 1 to the defending Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams?
That's a really good question. I see them going to the Super Bowl. I see them being favorite to go to the Super Bowl.
I think they get knocked off.
I think if they get to the Super Bowl and lose again, think about it. Think about how many times
the city of Buffalo will have to apply to be part of Canada.
Yeah, they may move because I don't think they could.
We got a new stadium for you. Don't go, please.
Yeah, I don't think they could handle it. How they do this week? This is the one.
You don't think that's buried memory? The 4 straight losses. I mean, which is still a hell of an accomplishment.
Can I tell you something? Yeah. If it is buried and they get to the Super Bowl, those 4 losses will be resurrected.
We'll see that missed field goal, man. That Norwood thing a couple of thousand times, worse than the FSU failures on.
They're just gonna regurgitate. They're gonna bring back every guy to talk about those losses. They're going to go back to Jim Kelly. They're going to go back to Thurman Thomas. They're going to go back to everybody to talk about those games. So
remember when they doused Bobby with the Gatorade, and it turned out he ended up losing. They had to blow dry him off. Because he came running out on the field there, and they thought they won.
Yeah, I think this first game against the Rams, I don't know. I am so back and
on the
forth
road
on
against
that
the Rams.
Yeah, I'm back and forth. I think they're going to win, and then I go, gosh, the Rams.
How do you not take the points in that game?
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at they say Matt Stafford's healthy and ready to go, and You know,
A
is
home
he?
dog too. I mean,
Yeah,
to open the
yeah.
season, if there's one angle in the NFL that you could look at and you see some improbable results, it
Yeah.
would be home underdogs. Holding up, I would imagine, to a very
Home
high
underdogs and
percentage.
you're the Super Bowl champion. I mean, come on. It's like,
Right. There's the thing.
how
I
is
don't
that
see where the
possible?
Rams are in decline. I mean, what did they lose besides Odell Beckham Jr.? In the offseason where they spent enormous amounts of money to retain guys like
I think they
Donald.
might still be questioning whether Matt Stafford's healthy. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. If he's completely
Supposedly,
healthy.
I mean, I don't know. I'm no Adam Schefter, but I haven't heard where they're concerned, overwhelmingly concerned about this
Well, I
guy.
don't think they would say if they were concerned. I
Yeah.
think they're just putting everything forward and saying, yeah, we're ready to rock and roll.
So
We're
when
going
like
to go.
Vince Ferragamo rolls out and starts, we should
Jesus. Man, oh man, can you imagine?
start worrying.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
was
well,
at one of
that's
those.
interesting. But you're buying the Buffalo Bills. You're 100% in on the
I
Buffalo
love the
Bills.
Buffalo Bills. I really
Right.
do, and I think I think they've got great fans, and it'd be nice to see.
It's
and
a
I-
strange bunch, man. The Buffalo
It's a
fans.
different, yeah, it's different. It's a different
Yeah.
bunch, but you got to accept. Listen, they're all different. Listen, when you go to, I told you when I went to Starkville, Mississippi,
They have more
they're-
defining
they're-
character though in other cities with their fans than we do in Miami.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have no. We're not like. Listen, when I mentioned Starkville, Mississippi, you're talking about a group of people that go get cowbells and make it impossible.
Oh, they have pitchforks with them. What are you talking about, Tony?
No, not pitchforks. But listen, when you go to places like Pittsburgh,
Starkville?
when you go to places like Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, right, and
Yeah.
Detroit, and you got those old school fans who just
Everybody looks like
do it
Rocky
up.
Blyer. They really
Yeah,
do.
they do, and they're they've got terrible towels that go back 30 years. They've got whatever it is that they hooked on. I mean, I just think when you go to those places and you see those fans, you see the grit. Doesn't matter if it's 5 degrees or 85 degrees. They're out there and they're having fun, and they're cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They could care less what the weather is. They're going to support their team, and I think that's fabulous. It doesn't matter where they win or lose. They're just it's generational. We're generational, but I don't know. It's just. We're only going to be there if they win, and if the Dolphins don't win, there's not going to be anybody there.
Buffalo Parlay from our friend Julian. Parlay Jessica Pagula. Today, she's still involved in the U.S. Open. Of course, the daughter of the Pagula family, which, what is the guy's name? Tony?
Terry. I think it's Terry Pagula, isn't it?
Terry Pagula, yeah. And he owns both the Bills and the Sabres.
Right.
Essentially owns Buffalo. In fact, I believe he also owns Niagara Falls.
And they love him in Buffalo, by the way.
Yeah. So
They
Julian
love him.
suggests a Pagula Bills parlay, which I might go against both. I don't know. I like Pagula though. I respect her. Imagine being the daughter of a billionaire and working as hard as she does.
Yeah.
To excel at this tennis, which the father doesn't seem to be an overwhelming participant. Like he doesn't go to any of her matches because he gets too nervous.
Yeah.
And
I don't blame him. I watched my daughter play. Man, oh man, I would rather be playing.
You were a little league parent. You were one of those little league parents.
No, I would
screaming at the coach here.
No.
Hey, why isn't she in the game? Huh?
No. That's why I started the thing I had, the business I had with trying to kind of put.
At David Shula. That was great. Yeah.
I just think that it's watching your child play. I shut up. I would go to another part of the stadium.
Yeah.
In fact, when we would go to Florida State games, I'd go with Ed Davis, the former Hurricane, whose daughter was a stud. And we'd go in another part of the field and just get away from people because you couldn't handle how people would yell at them, and other parents would yell at their daughters. And oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, that would be,
not so much
horrible.
In college.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen in college very much, but boy, oh boy, on those travel teams, it is just ugly.
Yeah,
ugly.
You're
ugly,
like
ugly.
parents at a quarterback, and some guy is drunk behind you, screaming the whole game that
Yeah.
your son sucks, and various other unflattering remarks. All right, a place that we have nothing but flattery for because it's all justified, and in fact, we might be underselling it. Believe it or not, people, how wonderful the people at Catholic Health Services are. Any type of rehab. We have people and they're stroking out. They're doing all kinds of crazy things. It is a rough go. You need the best of care, and then you need the best of people and a team behind you. And Catholic Health Services is all of that.
All of that and more. It's remarkable. We talk about this every week, and people go, "Come on, Come on. We would love to hear, for those of you who watch and listen to us, if you've been to Catholic Health Services, we would love to know what your experience was. We hear from people who have been to Texas Roadhouse. We would love to hear what your experience is. I mean, when you talk about, again, and I'm just going to put this out, honest to goodness, you can go right to any place you want to for rehab, and you're going to walk in and you're going to be wowed by the machines, and they're going to sell you a bill of goods, and they're going to, and they will, they'll get you better. They will. But are they going to get you better the way they would get you better at Catholic Health Services, whereby you have doctors, administrators, therapists, all who do it in a passionate, compassionate way. They find out who you are. They find out what makes you tick. They keep the family involved. They let the family know what to expect, when to expect it, and they let the family know when it's time for their loved one to go home, what to expect and how to help them, whether it's occupational therapy or physical therapy or the marrying of the two. And you go, well, how important is occupational therapy? Well, it's extremely important in many cases because these loved ones may have to relearn how to do a lot of different things. How just something as simple as getting in and out of bed. And Catholic Health Services excels.
I'm at that stage, by the way, Tony.
Well, yeah, aren't we all? Excels at all.
I had to
of these
talk myself
amazing-
out, give instructions. They just get up in the morning. It's amazing.
Yeah, but Catholic Health Services does this with such grace, such dignity, such compassion, such love. And here's the other thing. When you leave and your loved one leaves, do you know they still check on you? They still call to make sure you're okay. They want to make sure that everything is going well. And if there's anything else they can do for you, who does that? Catholic Health Services does. So please take it from us. If you need help, and you know what, even if you want questions answered, just have questions. There's someone's actually going to answer the phone and get on the phone with you and answer those questions. It's not going to be a recorded message. So please, at least check them out. Catholic Health Services or CatholicHealthServices.org. Look on the website. If you don't have the website, look them up on information and give them a call.
No, they're great. I mean, communication, level of expertise in all departments and categories, and about all different situations, just absolutely tremendous, unparalleled in the healthcare industry. All right,
Absolutely.
we're going to run for a second here. Tony Segreto, we'll wrap things up. Going old school with Tony Segreto, and we'll find out. He likes the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Kind of interesting. I see them getting knocked off somewhere along the way, but could be dead wrong about that. There's no question. And,
a lot of. We haven't even started, and we're talking about it already. So we got a lot to go.
Oh yeah, no, long road. Before we get to that point, but obviously, a lot of people feel the same way you do. They're the favorites to win the championship. All right, back.
Here's what I want to say real quick. This is why I like the 12-game playoff, because if with a 4-game playoff for most teams, if you lose one game, you're done. This way, the regular season really means something, and how you end up playing out, and then getting into the playoffs and then getting hot. I think that's important, and that's what we deal with the NFL. You could be, whatever that schedule. How many wild card teams made it to the Super Bowl and won because they got hot at the right time.
All right, it's an interesting equation. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that
The time.
I like the way you worked into college football thing. It's 8:56.
Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
You can't fake caring. Women can sense this immediately. You don't really care. You didn't really want to do any of this.
We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. Wrapping up Old School with Tony Segreto here. Another week, just amazingly quickly flying by here in this hour of Old School with Tony. Michigan, by the way, no wonder Ed Garcia is rolling and brimming with confidence. 51-point favorites over Hawaii this week.
I'll tell you
51-point favorites.
what's going to be a really good game this week is Florida.
Imagine laying 51, though. I mean,
no. Florida State's off. Miami plays
Southern Miss.
Southern Miss. And
25 and a hook on that one.
Yeah,
that's probably the best game of the weekend. Florida.
Florida, Kentucky is going to be huge, absolutely huge. And then we see how other teams play too this weekend. So I think that it'll be a great weekend. And the NFL starts. Come on, man! We got U.S. Open coming up, the finals and semifinals, and we're in the stretch run for Major League Baseball.
Mets in a dead heat now, absolute dead heat with the Braves.
Yeah. Who would have thought that?
Wow. Windows.
And we watch the Yankees kind of shrink their lead.
Yankees are down to 4 and a hook. Over the most amazing organization in all of sports, without question. Tony Segreto, Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh,
how the hell did they do it? It's incredible. And
even
the Yankees,
the whole every sports franchise there, right? From the Bucks to the Rays to the
Lightning.
The Lightning. My gosh, they're all. They seem to have that magic bullet, whatever that.
Remember when you thought that Tampa was like a cow town that was like vastly inferior to South Florida?
I mean, what was Tampa? Tampa was known for Burns Steakhouse. That was it.
That's it. Yeah, they had a couple of things. I mean, they had the bridge there, St. Pete. The Blunder Dome was the name of the stadium because they built the stadium and had no team. And a couple of franchises used that whole thing as just leverage to get their own ballparks built in their own cities and stayed there, right? San Francisco did it, and then the White Sox, I think. Stiff job.
How about Aaron Judge? He just keeps hitting them out, man.
Are you going to consider that the record, Tony? I think we asked you this.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it. For the Yankees, yes. If he gets to 61.
If he gets to 62 homers.
Yep.
You're going to consider that. Go to your grave saying that was it. Aaron Judge, all-time home run record, single season.
Single season, yeah.
I respect that. Yep. All right, Tony, we love you. It was fantastic. Have a great time up there. I mean, the weather, I would imagine, is significantly cooler than it is here in South Florida.
It was 51 degrees this morning.
You're in the one place in the country where it's not 110 in the shade. You're in the one place in the country.
I know. That's why I got 2 layers on here. It's the high today will be 68, and then I think this week's in the 70s, and then I head to South Florida where it's 105.
People are impaling themselves to any air conditioning unit that they have.
Not as bad as what's going on.
And still schwitzing.
In California, my gosh, those poor people.
Yeah,
they're talking about rolling blackouts now, and I mean it is
not a pleasant situation. Yeah,
no, I mean 108 degrees. My goodness.
Climate change, though, I don't think we ought to look at it. I think we ought to make America great again and just ignore the whole issue. That would be great. All right,
and keep nuclear secrets hidden in your desk drawer.
I have a couple of nuclear secrets in my desk drawer.
Right next to your hairspray and comb.
Yeah,
exactly. That's common. Who doesn't do that?
It's insane, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. All right, Tony, we love you, and we'll talk to you again next week, my friend. Okay,
yeah, absolutely. We'll plan on Texas Roadhouse this week.
Yeah,
oh yeah, if you're coming to town, you let me know, and we're going to do it for sure.
You got it. All right, man.
The first one will be the one on Ed, and then the next one will be the one on me. No,
however you want to do it, man.
We'll go back-to-back nights. No, I don't mind paying his debt off. That'll be fine.
All right.
You were right about Serena. I was wrong.
Segreto, man.
All right, we'll see you next week. Tony Segreto, ladies and gentlemen.